Path of Exile.
Bruh.
Exactly. Apparently, there was a trailer out yesterday. I totally didn't know that. Let's check out Path of Exile, Keepers of the Flame content reveal. And let's see what it's all about, because from hearing some creators and reading some stuff on Twitter, it seems to be pretty big. And apparently there's another skill tree inside the skill tree. Let's see how it goes.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers from Grinding Gear Games, and welcome to GGG Live. Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal of Path of Exile, Keepers of the Flame, which is coming out 1 week from now on October the 31st. Twitch drops are enabled on today's live
Halloween.
stream, so you'll be able to claim your Hive-born crawler pet by following the instructions below.
Yeah,
Without
I'm
further
about
ado, let's roll the trailer for Path of Exile, Keepers of the Flame.
a day late.
We, the Keepers of the Flame, serve the will of the Dreamer. His instructions whispered from beyond the wall of sleep. But now, the Hiveborn are here, on Rayclast, and they seek to poison our world.
Gotta love it. The music.
We must close their breaches, destroy their hives, slay their breach lords.
It has such a different vibe to Path of Exile 2. I love it. But it's also so similar. God, the music goes hard right now.
And by his gifts, the Dreamer provides. They brought this war to our world, but we shall end it, whatever it takes.
Genesis tree. Mysterious item room crafts. Jesus Christ. That looks pretty gosh darn insane. Yo, did I just see Oshabi? Yo, the Uber bosses, we knew they're coming. New trade system, love it, yes. Alright. The trailer was, I feel like, pretty short for, I think, what we're going to watch now. Like, there's a lot. The Genesis tree is going to be
As you can
very
see,
interesting.
this expansion is a true sequel to the Breach League, first introduced to the game in 2016. We felt like it was time to progress the story of Breach, bringing with it a slew of new updates to the base game. In today's stream, we'll take you on a deep dive into Path of Exile, Keepers of the Flame, beginning with the League mechanic, covering all the fearsome challenges it presents, and the new twisted ways you'll be able to empower your character. After that, we'll dive into the new ascendancy options possible with Bloodline classes. Then we'll cover the much anticipated and synchronous trade system coming to Path of Exile 1. Afterwards, we'll move into the new Uber Pinnacle bosses, how to access them, and some new drops worthy of the added difficulty. Finally, we'll cover some notable quality of life improvements before moving on to our supporter packs and challenge rewards. We'll then have a live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask Path of Exile's game directors Mark and myself your questions from Twitch chat. And after the live stream, we'll drop the full patch notes at 11 AM New Zealand time or 3 PM Pacific. So let's get started.
Sweet.
I'll hand things over to Mark to introduce the new league.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile. Breach is a beloved league that has had an iconic history in PoE. We intend to honour that legacy with our first ever sequel league, Keepers of the Flame.
Indeed.
This develops every aspect of Breach, adding new layers to discover, richer lore, scarier bosses, and entirely new mechanics. That said, this is still Breach, so you will still be opening breaches and slaying hordes of otherworldly monsters. The Breach Lords have found the means to stabilize the connection between their realm and Rayclast.
Guys, looks so sick.
Now,
This.
with their grip tightening, we learn their true goal in our world, conquest. The threat they pose has now escalated to home soil. On the coast in Act 1, you'll encounter Aelith, the founder of the Keepers of the Flame. This is a monastic order sworn to defend Wraeclast from the Breach Lords. The exit to the Mudflats has been barricaded by Hiveborn, Breach monsters that are working to claim every inch of Wraeclast. Aelith can grant you a small spark of the power of the Flame, allowing you to blast away their barricade and move onwards.
Wait, first of the Keepers?
Once you enter the Mudflats, you'll find it infested with Breach monsters.
Oh.
They appear to be constructing a kind of hive, creating
Kinda
strange
neat.
shapes and structures that absolutely don't belong. Time to purge them with fire. Aelith needs you to protect her as she empowers the flame to do so.
Gotta love that animation of her.
Hold off the assault long enough,
good.
and she'll be able to demolish the hive with cleansing flame.
Okay, so she cleans it all up.
In other areas, the gap
get
between
graft
worlds
blood?
is strained. Here, you'll find a more familiar encounter with a new twist. A massive breach hand sunders the space between dimensions, and touching it will open an unstable breach, causing
That
monsters
looks-
to flood in.
Visually, it looks so sick. Love
If
that
you can
update.
slaughter them quickly enough, you can stabilize the breach. This brazen
Oh.
action can draw the attention of Vroon, Marshal of
Oh.
Zesht, who will do everything it can to stop you. Defeating this boss will permanently seal the breach, severing another connection between the Breach Lord's world and Wraeclast. These stabilized breaches are similar to what a breach once was, but with upgraded monsters, a success condition to shoot for, UI tracking to keep the player informed of their progress through the encounter,
Yeah.
and satisfying feedback when you do manage to complete the encounter.
Hell yeah.
We've taken all the lessons we've learned since the release of Breach 9 years ago and improved upon it in every way we can. However,
So good.
much of the joy of Breach came from its simplicity. While
True.
we want to modernize the mechanic, we don't want to undermine the core experience. You're still mostly just slaughtering hordes of enemies in a circle.
Circle
Finally,
League.
in endgame areas, you might run into breach constructions that have been left unopposed for too long and have grown into their full twisted glory. Breach hives. Towering flesh-crafted cities in the sky. These are the visions of the Breach Lords made real in Wraeclast, teeming with breach monsters. You must raid and destroy these cities with the help of Aelith and her flame.
So that's what we saw. Or, sorry,
In
we
some of these hives, you
Some
may
artists
even encounter
posted
some of the Breach
similar
Lords themselves,
artwork.
who will not be happy you're intruding on their planned conquest.
That was.
Now,
that was-
let's talk loot. Of course, being an exile is hard work, and you're unlikely
True.
to help entirely out of the goodness of your heart.
God no.
Fortunately, Aelith has power and rewards aplenty,
Let's go.
born of the Breach Realm itself, to offer you for your assistance. Help her, and she'll bring you to the Monastery of the Keepers, the hallowed halls of her order. Here, you'll find the Genesis Tree, the growing heart of the Keeper's power. On interacting with it, you'll find that this tree has a tree. That's right. It couldn't be Path of Exile unless the tree also had a tree. More importantly, the Genesis Tree is an engine of unholy creation, and a profitable one. As you complete breach encounters and work more with Aelith, you'll be able to grow the Genesis Tree larger and larger, sprouting additional limbs. Each of these limbs, you'll notice, has their own inventories. These can be used for an unusual method of crafting new items. With this system, you'll be able to grow currency, uniques, equipment, and a new kind of otherworldly item, grafts. Grafts are breach hands grown directly from the Genesis Tree, born of the same flesh and sinew as the invading monsters. These fuse directly to your body, in a completely safe process. Don't worry about it. With grafts, you can harness the power of the breach. Some provide passive benefits like this, or this, but they can also grant a wide selection of powerful skills. These graft skills can provide a flexible way to fill gaps in your build, offering
Okay.
everything from damage to potent defensive buffs and crowd control.
Is the camera zoomed
For
out
example,
more, or is it just me?
The battering all graft will call massive arms to erupt from the earth, stunning
Nice.
all those they hit.
I love the
For some
name
additional
Return to
cat clearing power,
Dust.
You could consider the Squalling Tool Graft. When commanded, this graft will cast Dance in the White, creating a deadly ice tornado which aggressively seeks enemies and fires off bursts of ricocheting projectiles when you critically strike with skills.
I love the color actually of
For some
like
further utility and
it's
a
a
useful
different
buff, try out
color
the
gem,
Storming
right?
Ash Graft. This can be commanded to call down a ring of bolts from the sky that will leave behind the new Radiant Ground. Radiant Ground grants a potent damage buff to allies standing within it and makes their hit damage lucky.
okay, could also be good for minions.
If you're simply after raw damage, look no further than the Erupting Zothgraft, which causes massive eruptions of fire where you command, which then re-erupt when you Warcry. There are a
Classic.
total of 16 different graft types you can grow, each with their own skill. You can even unlock a second graft slot as you progress through Aelith's questline. So feel free to mix and match Flesh Zone horrors to your heart's content.
So you can use them
grafts aren't just here to
permanently
make you stronger.
on top
They
of
are
other
also
stuff.
your means of feeding the Genesis tree,
That feels like a
which
lot of
needs
power.
constant supplies of graft blood to grow anything useful. You can do this by defeating breach monsters, which will leave behind blood that your graft will automatically collect. When you feed this blood to the tree, your allocated passives will be put to work. This section of the Genesis tree can be used to grow new grafts for you, which the Genesis tree will then birth in a gruesome display.
Gotta love the icons. It just looks so disgustingly sick.
Basic passives on the tree might increase item rarity of birthed grafts, or the chance to birth additional grafts.
Huh.
These passives can target specific types of grafts, and this passive causes grafts to be birthed with a random amount of quality. Quality improves the amount of blood that can be stored by your grafts. This section of the Genesis tree births currency items. Basic passives can result in more or better currency. Allocate this passive to sometimes cause a shower of currency to burst forth from the flesh of the tree. Yeah, it's a bit gross, but working with the organic matter of a bunch of dead otherworldly creatures was never going to be a clean affair.
Also different orb of
Grafts
augmentation.
themselves are born of a different world, so are unmodifiable by most currencies. However, with this passive, the Genesis tree can occasionally grow fleshy mockeries of currency orbs. These function like augmentation orbs, regal orbs, or exalted orbs, but they work on your grafts instead of normal gear. Yep, it's graft crafting.
Oh my
Allocating
god,
this
what?
passive can result in foul-born currencies. This foul-born exalted orb, for instance, behaves as a normal exalted orb, except it guarantees a higher tier modifier. By locking out a large portion of the lower rolls, a normal exalted orb would be able to hit. The largest section of the Genesis tree is used to grow rare equipment items. For these, you have a lot of agency to influence the type and modifiers on your grown item.
God.
For example,
damn.
you can specifically target boots with a dexterity requirement, with an increased chance for speed modifiers, and reduced chance for cold modifiers. Or maybe you'd prefer to look for a two-handed axe with increased chance for physical modifiers. This section of the tree is
Love
for
it.
growing unique items.
Headhunter.
Similar to the equipment section, there are
Mage Lord.
passives that let you target growing specific types of uniques or rarer uniques. The process of growth is not always a perfect one, however, and can result in some defects. This passive can result in birthed uniques becoming foul-born, which mutates one of the existing modifiers on the item into a new one,
Oh my
resulting
god.
in some interesting new ways to use that unique.
Holy
For
moly, no they
example,
didn't.
This foul-born quill rain no longer has increased projectile speed, but instead has increased area of effect. Another foul-born quill rain could replace the mana gained on hit with the much more powerful modifier where insufficient mana doesn't prevent your bow attacks. Here are some other examples.
Chaos Res! Yo!
This passive even gives a rare chance for
Absolutely
foul-born
sick.
uniques to have multiple different modifiers mutated. I'm sure you'll come up with some extremely powerful uses for these.
It's just an easy way to like
We'll leave it
reuse
up to you
uniques
to
across the
discover what this
entire game.
mysterious part of the Genesis tree can grow.
And if
So,
you ever thought, oh, I would have
ultimately,
liked this
you'll be slaying
unique item,
masses
but
of
with
breach
that
monsters,
modifier, it might not be
harvesting
possible.
blood with the aid of your grafts, feeding that to the Genesis tree, growing some items and better grafts, and back again to the slaughter.
And keep in mind, all this
As
will
with all our
stay.
challenge leagues,
Mark my words.
this league will come
This
with
is
a
new
set
Breach.
of 40 challenges to pursue, and completing them will award you with the Keeper of the Flame armor set, allowing you to truly embrace becoming a monk and worshipping the Dreamer.
Okay, it's a pretty good item.
Now,
Also like that the knee
craft
pad is
skills won't
literally
be
a
the
hand.
only new tools to play with. In 327, we're also adding a collection of new skill and support gems. Let's go over them now. Kinetic Rain is a new
I hear
wand
the
attack
Lycia
which
sound
covers the
right now.
ground
I
in
hear it.
unstable kinetic energy. These hazards collapse at the slightest touch, releasing their energies into any unfortunate soul who happens to be standing on them. With enough projectiles and area of effect, an enterprising exile could carpet the world in dangerous kinetic force. Wall of Force creates a barrier of kinetic power, causing allied projectiles to ricochet towards targets automatically. Drop one behind a boss and redirect the bolts of your armies. I'm sure you'll find ways to break this one. Conflagration is a new bow attack which rains down fiery bolts from above that stick into the ground and pulse as you approach. Once you get close enough, these bolts detonate.
Oh,
causing
as you
ravaging
approach.
These bolts chain react, allowing you to create fields of incendiary destruction.
Okay, so stand on top of the boss and spam
Thunderstorm
him.
is a
Got
bow
it.
attack, which creates a
Just go
whirling storm of wind and lightning where it lands.
God, that looks so
While
sick.
you're within the storm, it will rapidly grow
Rip
until it
the
becomes
bitrate.
violently thunderous with lightning-infused clouds.
I mean, bitrate
At
for the
this
viewers,
point,
of course.
leaving the storm will cause it to detonate, dealing damage to everything within and releasing a flurry of tornadoes in all directions. Attacking with
Now we have
kinetic
betrayal
fusillade will
music
create
coming in.
hovering orbs of energy. These linger for a few moments above you before zipping off to nearby targets, chaining between them, then detonating.
Okay.
Living lightning support will bring to life living sparks of energy, elemental minions that zap through packs of enemies with speed and ease.
What
Use
the?
these alongside your spellcasting to augment your pack clearing abilities, or find whatever means possible to cover the world in living sparks of ruin.
Oh my god, that
Wind
seems
burst support unleashes chaotic tornadoes as you
potentially
attack,
very strong.
which ricochet around wildly and quickly. These deal moderate damage as they travel, but will explode into a highly damaging burst when they expire. So it's a choice between scaling their duration up to get better coverage, or down to access the burst more quickly.
Okay.
Kinetic Instability is a support gem to go along with the new wand attacks that causes enemies slain to leave behind those same orbs of shimmering energy that Kinetic Rain creates. One might ponder just how many orbs you can create if you were to use both. In 327, Exiles will be able to absorb the power of some of the bosses they defeat.
Seems a bit
These
strong.
take the form of new Ascendancy class options, called Bloodlines.
Okay, we got more.
Bloodline classes are a new means of character customization in the endgame. They are secondary Ascendancy classes that are unlocked by defeating specific endgame bosses. They are allocated with your normal Ascendancy points, and you'll have to choose how many of your points go into the original Ascendancy and how many into your Bloodline class. This means there is a nigh limitless ability to mix and match here, as you could choose to invest just a couple points into your Bloodline, or max it out, and you could take any Bloodline with any base Ascendancy class that you see fit. To unlock your Bloodline, hunt down the endgame boss whose power you desire, and defeat them, or have a friend help, and claim the power for your own. There are 10 Bloodline classes to discover. Bosses who offer this power are typically associated with past leagues, giving
God, that looks
additional
sick.
reasons to engage with that league content.
Hi, Lyceum.
Let's run over a few examples. The Chaos Bloodline will be offered to you by the Trial Master, if you manage to succeed his final challenge. With his blessing, you can greatly augment your Val skills in different ways. Priest of Yalmak lets you use Val skills much more often, while Priest of Kopek makes it harder to build up Val skills, but makes them far more powerful. Or take Corruption's Embrace, which grants more Val Keystone powers the more corrupted items you have equipped. The Ashabi bloodline can be gained by, you guessed it, defeating Ashabi. Her abilities are drawn from the 3 types of life force that manifest within as Marian spirits. The wild bear rewards you with adrenaline for generating rage. The vivid cat gives your elusive buffs a chance to refresh, as well as making you more stealthy while elusive.
Pretty good.
The primal owl allows your unleashed spells to reoccur many additional times, and get stronger for each time they reoccur. The nameless
Unsealed
bloodline comes
spell.
from the King in the Mists.
You could use that with Blade Vortex.
Be forewarned, his menacing power comes at a great cost. With the Unseen Hand, you can equip a 3rd ring. But you'll have to decide if that comes at the expense of having no amulet, no belt, or no flasks. Unlike Silhouette adds a hefty life cost to all your spells, but they deal additional chaos damage based on the amount of life spent.
Oh,
Of course,
God.
there is more to come.
Damn, that
What
sounds
powers
sick.
might you glean from delving deep underneath Rayclass to fight all the Crystal King? What secrets can you learn from Lycia, Herald of the Scourge, waiting at the end of the Forbidden Sanctum? As you can imagine, there are countless possible combinations with the system. You could be a Slayer that embraces corruption and vile power, or perhaps you'll play an occultist that doubles down on their dark power by integrating the Nameless bloodline. We are excited to see what crazy and interesting builds players come up with. In the most recent Path of Exile 2 expansion, the 3rd Edict, we introduced a much anticipated feature, fully asynchronous trade.
Hell yeah.
It was a fantastic success. So now we're excited to announce that we'll also be adding this feature into Path of Exile 1. When you reach Act 6, you'll be able to find Faustus in Lion Eye's Watch. Previously, he just operated the currency exchange. Now, he will also act as a steward for your merchants tabs. These are where you can place items for sale, for direct and instant purchase by other players even when you're not online. To
Yeah,
list
such
an
a
item,
sick thing.
simply place it in the
But
tab
just a casual fucking
and select
Nimbus.
a currency and an amount.
I'll let you know.
Once listed, other players will be able to find the item by searching for it via the trade website or
I
the
love
new
looting.
in-game market search.
I love the
To
usernames to
purchase
choose.
something for yourself, it's as easy as hitting this button, which will teleport you to the seller's hideout, where you can view their merchants tabs, buy the item, and also view the rest of their wares in case something else catches your eye. Every purchase costs a small fee of gold, as Faustus takes his cut. To account for this further drain on gold, acquisition and cost balance elsewhere in the game has been adjusted. Anything you've
Very
managed
good.
to sell successfully will have your profits collected here, in a separate tab to claim at your leisure. To be clear, previous means of trading, such as via pre-existing premium stash tabs and the website, will still function just as before. Merchants tabs, and the asynchronous trading that comes with them, are an entirely additive feature on top of the already existing methods to trade.
Good that they mention it. Especially
You
to
might
original
find
players.
yourself needing the trade system to buy
This is
some
not a
upgrades,
minus, this is just...
because this update also
mean-
introduces 3 new Uber Pinnacle boss fights.
Technically, it could be a minus.
These encounters are manifested from the memories of Zana, and in her long torment,
Secrets
they
of
have
the Atlas
festered
music
into
is so
something
good.
truly deadly.
God damn.
These fights offer an imposing challenge, alongside powerful rewards. In order to gain access, similar to existing Uber Pinnacle fights, you'll need to discover fragments dropped by Tier 17 map bosses. Each attempt at the new Uber Pinnacle fights will require 5 of these. Let's dig into some of the challenges you'll need to face in these new Uber versions. In the original incarnation of Neglect fight, the statues can be used to block the laser beams to hide behind, giving you an opportunity to avoid being shocked, frozen, or killed. When you run near these statues, they activate and allow you to reposition them.
Yeah,
While
I never
activated,
used
they will
those.
not stop the lasers, meaning you want to position them well, then avoid them.
But I also played a tanky build.
However, in the Uber version of this fight, instead of being a safe haven, the statues will refract the laser beams, causing a ruckus of energy to cover the arena. Activating them will prevent the refraction, so unlike the base fight, where you want to position them well and then avoid them, you'll be wanting wanting to constantly keep these statues active. But then you have to deal with their assaultive attacks. While fighting the incarnation of fear, these fiery orbs will slowly clutter up the arena, locking off portions of it until you bait the boss into detonating them himself with his thrown spear. When uberified, these orbs are attached by a flaming leash to the boss.
Okay, come on,
rotating
dude.
around him constantly.
Dude, I
More and
mean,
more will spawn as the fight goes on, making it even more imperative that you clean them up by cleverly using the boss's abilities against him.
that's actually a good way of doing it, I think.
Normally,
Because I
in the
kind of ignored
incarnation
them.
of Dread fight during the bullet hell
So
phase,
now it's
you have to
actually a real
acquire red
mechanic.
rose, run it to the boss, then collect a blue rose, doing the same, causing it to get heavy stunned and interrupting its mechanic. In the
Yeah, the
Uber
mechanic is
version,
strange.
you have to do the same. But in order to get the blue rose, you have to defeat the incarnation of neglect. And to get the red rose, you have to defeat the incarnation of fear.
Excuse me,
luck.
what?
Given
Excuse
the
me, what?
difficulty of these bosses, their rewards should be worth your while. Let's take a look at some. From the Uber incarnation of neglect fight, we have Bitter Instinct, a spiky shield that turns retaliatory strikes into preemptive ones, making it just a matter of time
God damn.
before the long arm of justice crushes your foes.
Sorry, I just read the fucking, flavor text and it's...
You might find Festering Resentment, a poisoned blade with an unending supply of toxins built into the hilt. These toxins are put to good use, causing every spell you trigger to be capable of poisoning with all damage it deals, enabling a truly crazy trigger-centric poison ruckus. And from the Uber incarnation of Dread, the Hallowed Monarch, a counterpart to the Dark Monarch, which focuses more heavily on investing into one or a few minions.
Sekima
rather than growing
Orbala
rewards
to be
to massive
crowned
proportions.
Garukan.
Storm Rayclast, with your chosen few at your side, stealing power from your enemies as you go.
So Headhunter for minions.
We've got a number of quality of life changes to bring to 327 as well. Many of which you may have seen already in some of our pre-livestream teasers, but for those who haven't, Heist is a mechanic which has long frustrated some players who may otherwise have been interested in the rewards it has to offer, but have no desire to grind through the early progress of finding and running low-level contracts to get all of the rogues to their maximum level. Well, starting in 327, Heist rogues will automatically begin at maximum level, so you can start your dubious criminal career without all the busy work.
I kind of
Points
like the
invested into your
progress it
Atlas
offers,
passive
though.
tree
I really
will now
enjoyed
be
that with Heist.
refundable with gold. Just speak to Kerak to do so.
But it really isn't
For players
necessary
who
when
love jumping
items
between
are
strategies,
also part of the
there's
progress
also an
of
option
these
to instantly
heist,
refund
like
your entire tree,
rogues, right?
which of course can now also
are
be
heist
done
members,
with your
whatever it's
regular
called.
passive tree as well. Now you can make all your decisions with no regrets. Well,
Yeah, this is just so sick.
maybe some regrets.
That is just...
You no
this is the-
longer need to
amazing.
purchase bestiarials.
Finally, a refund all
You can
button.
now itemize beasts for free directly from your bestiary.
This...
From late Act 1, you can now mass identify
not
your
entirely
items at
solves
an
my,
NPC
solves my
in
issue
every
with
town.
bestiary. But it's
And
so
from
much better.
Helena in your hideout. This does not require Scrolls of Wisdom at all.
So yeah,
While
no scrolls
using
of
an
wisdoms
alteration
anymore.
orb, you can now hold Alt to swap to using an augmentation orb, if one is available. Opening a
Yeah,
blight chest
I don't know.
will now open all other blight chests near it.
Yeah, that's sick.
Rog's
This is just-
disenchanting services can now be accessed from towns and hideouts.
Frick yeah. I might actually play Blight now.
Kerak missions now have a handy icon
I mean,
to
I love
show at a
Blight
glance
already,
what kind
but
of
the-
mission they are.
Spamming chests is
Holding
weird.
down Control and right-clicking on stacked decks will now
Yes, so sick.
continuously open them to your inventory, notifying you in chat what the outcome is. If
This
you
was
still want to
updated
open them direct
recently.
to the ground,
It's now
to let
more
your
clear
loot
what
filter provide a dose of dopamine. You can still
what it
do
is.
that too by also holding Shift.
This is also great that they added this. Yeah,
Val
you can
orbs
just
be
still throw
used
it on the
monsters
ground, which I
encased
would
in
probably do
essences,
anyways.
to the same effect that Remnants of Corruption have.
It's kind of interesting that they kind of removed remnants of corruption, I guess.
When multiple skill
sure.
gems are ready to level at the same time, you'll now be able to click
Makes
this
Val orbs
button
more
to level
valuable
them
again.
all up at once.
Yeah. Level up all gems.
Next up,
Love it.
we're going to be talking about our new League supporter packs.
Hell yeah, money!
Today, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs.
That's a
The
sick portal, bro.
Champion of Theopolis and the Verdant Magus packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points,
the fuck is
alongside
that?
several exclusive microtransactions.
What is that map? Oh
As
my
always,
god.
The microtransactions in these packs are purely
not map,
cosmetic
hideout.
and do not affect your character's power or
God, that
progression
looks-
in any way.
That's a bit much.
The Champion of Theopolis series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. Manifest a Champion's Ferocity, as the Lion's Might unique finisher effect rips your enemies to shreds. Open the Champion of Theopolis portal to end your crusade through maps in the style expected of a true victor of the arena.
God, looks good.
Defeat your enemies like a true gladiator, wearing the Grand Champion of Theopolis armor set. The armor awarded only to the most elite warriors of the Grand Arena. Take charge of the situation and storm into combat with the
armor
Flaming
set is pretty
Minotaur's
good.
Quicksilver Flask effect.
Not really into this.
The Champion's Podium map device rises up to honor the glory you've achieved as you activate it.
Ascend the stairs and stand atop the platform as you enter your maps. Each flame surrounding the platform represents a remaining use on your portal.
Ooh.
The burden-back belly goat carries all the supplies necessary for a campsite as he travels behind you in battle. When placed in a hideout, instead of roaming around like your other pets, their supplies are deployed, creating a small camp where you can access your stash and providing a place to take a load off while you rest next to the campfire.
It's kind of neat.
The Verdant Magus series contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
Got it. I think that literally killed the
Having
frame
fails
rate
to
there.
sell your items on your behalf is great and all, but sometimes you just want to feel a little bit more shady about your dealings. The back alley trader hideout decoration is more secretive with your trades, creating distance between you and your customers.
Note that until 327 is released, this back alley trader will only serve as your currency exchange. Once it's out, it will be updated to have the new managed shop option to also facilitate your trades.
Okay, very good, very
The
good.
Verdant Wayfinder pet is a loyal companion to any Master Magus.
That's a cool looking wolf. I love that.
As you approach waypoints, it envelops them with its vines, guiding you throughout Rayclast. Control
pretty
Earth
good.
and nature itself, as the Great Verdant Magus armor set envelops you in the ancient power now lost to time. There's also a matching back attachment included.
Pretty good.
Remnants of the forest ripple out from within you with the Verdant Magus level up effect equipped.
Man, these level
restoring
up
life to
effects
the
are
corrupted
heavy.
land. Call on an ancient golem to use their power to create a safe passage for you to retreat through with the Arcane Golem portal. As a Supreme Verdant Magus, you can travel to your Arcane Isle hideout.
Oh my
A
god.
cluster of islands held together by ancient magic passed down between elite mages.
Oh my god.
Stand atop your tower and relish the great heights you've reached above those who have not harnessed the arcane.
Holy
These packs are now available for purchase
Frick.
on both PC and console, and will remain so during Path of Exile, Keepers of the Flame.
Is that the first hideout that has
Additionally,
like sea
any
depth?
microtransactions from these
Like, you
supporter
can look
packs
down
will be
onto
made
it?
available for use in Path of Exile 2.
God damn.
Meanwhile, the Crypt Keeper and Frisian Magistrate packs leave the store forever at the launch of the Keepers of the Flame League, so now's your last chance to purchase them. Thank you so much for your ongoing support.
Holy, that was a lot. All right, all right. Huh. That was, those were 30 minutes. It went by very quickly. But also, I feel like each part was like very much to the point. Like, it really didn't waste anyone's
Give a
time. It's
sequel.
like, that's what it is. Let's freaking go. Here it is. That was like never a break of I think no voiceover at all. Okay. Yeah, it's difficult to like go through it. Oh my god, I can't even like. I have a little bit of a muscle ache. Holy okay, I do have to stretch after this. Wowie. Okay. Everything is fine. Don't worry about it. I'm good. So, with most stuff, first of all, very cool, love it. Again, Path of Exile is just, I guess, the top dog when it comes to just putting out gosh darn content. Of course, they're also really smart in reusing old content, but there's just so much to just appreciate and play here, while also discover, right? It's not only just, oh, here's like a new way to, I don't know, farm a lot of currency. No, it's also like discover things and, combine things. And it's like, oh, is this better? Or do I like this more? Or what about this, right? That's also so important because well, first of all, it keeps you playing, right? It keeps you experimenting. So even if you maybe start off Keepers of the Flame with, I don't know, let's say going all on currency, right? And then Fabgun makes a video and then you follow that. No, but jokes aside, if you're like, I don't really care about currency, I want those big, juicy, unique drops, then you can focus on getting exactly that. Or after that, maybe you can do some sort of strategy, right? Where you start with currency first, and then when you can farm currency already, you don't really need more of it. You can then say, okay, let me not have currency, let me get like crazy strong rare items that you can then sell or go into the unique route. So again, and just me talking about the complexity is the beauty of Path of Exile leagues, because it's not just like, oh, it's this, just do that, right? Because there is no other option, right? And even if it's just, and usually sometimes could be fake options, but no, I feel like those are real options, right? Where you literally get some other stuff, but just can't get other things. So, either way, currency all the way, let's freaking go. Genesis 3, first of all, I have a few questions why the Keepers of the Flame that fight the breach have this thing in their backyard. Lore-wise, I'm a bit sus of the new NPC. Just a tiny little bit sus. So there's that. It is, I wonder actually if the Keepers of the Flame retcons anything they mention in Breach. Because it feels very heavy to have never mentioned them ever in the game. I might be wrong, but I have never heard of them at all. I might have to watch Kitten Cat Noodle's video on Breach and Kshesh, or I think she made another video. I think there are two videos, I think, for about Breach-ish related things. So I might need to watch her video again of that, because that seemed quite interesting to know if anything Keepers of the Flame related, like, even existed on Rayclast. I'm guessing it won't tell us anything, or those videos probably don't have any information, because it might focus only on like Breach itself. And as a writer, I would have like focused on Breach itself, so information that comes from the Breach. But these Keepers of the Flames, Keepers of the Flame, they of course have lore from themselves, which we have never met for whatever reason. So it's a bit strange, like, that we've never heard of them. Maybe I don't know. I'm assuming, because this seems like completely new lore to me. So, which is fine, they want to flesh it out. And I like how they didn't say, oh, it's Breach 2.0, it's a sequel, right? Of course, it just sounds better. It is literally Breach 2.0, but you approach it in a different way when you say this is a sequel, because now it's not Breach 2.0 with like some updated fancy graphics. It's literally a sequel to, I mean, I don't know if sequel is a part of the word sequence, but to have a sequence, you need point 1 to go to point 2. Point 1 was Breach, and now in the sequel, you can explore the lore more, right? You actually can really put all your effort into it. So, it might now. I wonder what's going to happen now in Path of Exile 1. We're probably not going to watch the Q&A with CGD. I might watch that tomorrow. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just interested in if he's going to ask, is this planned for other League mechanics, right? Do we actually get Blight, a sequel to Blight? That would be pretty sick. And think about everything we see right now could all just be ported over from PoE2 again. Who knows? So this is what Breach would have been in PoE2, but they didn't get it fully finished yet. So now it's finished, so now they can just reuse it in PoE1, right? It's an interesting way of dealing with it. Of course, with added things, I doubt we will have these hands at the side of our character, but you know, I'm sure the Genesis tree might still be there, right? I'm also a bit sus about the NPC again, because I think her name was First of the Keepers. Bro, how old is she? And how is she alive? So yeah, that's a big question I have for this NPC that is helping us. Literally put a arm on your back, bro. It just grows under your shoulder blades. Don't worry about it. Bro, if you have those arms on your shoulder blades, you know, both shoulder blades, just arms coming out. As someone who sleeps on, you know, on the back, on my back. How I wouldn't be able to sleep anyways. Sorry. Hi, Hyperwork. How you doing? Poggies! Indeed. I think the Poggies emote doesn't even work anymore. I'm so sorry for that. Why doesn't it work anymore? I'm very sorry. I'll have to check that out. You know, I'm a washed streamer. But seriously, hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying hydrated. Big Path of Exile 1 news, and we're briefly going through it today because it is already kind of late. Busy life, busy IRL stuff. So yeah, we're gonna go through it a bit more. Either way, Genesis tree, very sick, very cool. New skill and supports. Again, I'm not a build creator, so I'm a build follower. But what seemed interesting was the whole aspect of these things. Yeah, these things are exactly the type of minions I like. As in, they are fast, they home onto stuff, and potentially also chain between enemies or something. I love it. These are that type of minions I want in every video game. I mean, obviously, because they're, you know, the most OP usually, depending on how they're balanced. So, I'm also quite interested in, like, new bosses. Now that we have Marshal of Kshesh. Well, okay, Kshesh is a difficult thing, you know, because Kshesh was more of a lore thing in PoE1, but an actual thing in PoE2. But do we actually now fight the real Breach Lords, or did they on purpose not spoil anything? They didn't show us the Breach Lords. So I hope they got updated as well. The problem I have is, and maybe this is also not mentioned on purpose, I actually really dislike how the what is it, the Breach, I'm losing it, guys. I'm losing all the names right now because I haven't played this game in so long. Well, not so long, but still. Like the Breach splinters that become the item that you then use in a mech device. You know what I mean? That thing. I hate that content. I hate that where you walk in and then slowly travels. And it's like very slowly. And it's literally wasting my time. That's what it kind of feels like. Right? Like nothing is happening. It's not a real challenge. Come on, guys. Can we move it on? I actually don't understand why the thing, you know, that moves across the map slowly and you have to follow it, why doesn't this move faster if I kill enemies? You know, I don't understand. Wouldn't that make sense? Like, I never understood that with Breach. Like, just let me kill enemies, and then you could even partially fake it in a way. So, you know, it like moves faster, slower, then you kill a few enemies, and then it speeds up again and slows down again. Like, not doesn't go back, right? But it just goes at the normal rate, and then it's like, oh, faster, slower, faster, slower. Like, I don't... anything besides just continuous movement across the map, very slowly, spawning in enemies. I'm like, please, for the love of God, move. I don't know why they didn't. I hope that is updated. I don't know, it's just one of... like, I never run those. I just literally sell them, and I do not want to run them. No, it's the most boring thing you can do.
These are where you can new and
So, with this now, I just skipped over so much. Again, new skill support gems, sick. Bloodline classes. Hold up, let me read this. Hold up, give me a second.
Bloodline classes are a new means of character customization in the endgame.
Indeed.
They are secondary ascendancy classes that are unlocked by defeating specific endgame bosses. They are allocated with your normal ascendancy points, and you'll have to choose how many of your points go into the original ascendancy and how many into your bloodline class.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I didn't have hope. But it is what it is. So this is thankfully not an additional power thing we can have. It's just a balance, right? You take this instead of that, which is, I think, fine, because these seem very small, and you usually get to like the most important things, like, you know, 2 points, right? It's all just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and there are usually maybe like 2 or 3 options, something along those lines. I think Ashabi has 3 now, maybe. So that's good. I mean, technically, it's always 2 at ascendancies or in ascendancies, or yeah, the ascendancy tree. But it's good that it's kept this way, because you usually have 2 points that you just take cause, because you have no other thing you actually want to take, right? So this is now an option to just, instead of the 2 points for the last ascendancy, for example, that you just take cause you have them and you can get them, which is free power, you can now use it on something else that might be more powerful or actually relate to you. And because these are separate from the other ascendancies, and you can have this and your normal ascendancy, it's a beautiful choice. It's a beautiful choice to make. I wonder, though, could they add this to the core game? And in what way? Because it feels a bit weird that you can ascend from just killing those major enemies. It feels a bit strange. I feel like you would need some other mechanic to make this happen. But I would love to see them try this and add it in the game without just like, Lamau, it's now in the game. Like, I would some mechanic around it. Who knows? Like something maybe around the... You know how we have the Pantheon and we have to like gather the souls? I would like that, but with an actual mechanic behind it. Like an actual end game mechanic, like a league around that. Maybe that's the way they could reintroduce those bloodline classes, right? Because then you get the soul of, or part of the soul, or transfer the soul, or I don't know, absorb part of the power of Ushabi, and then you can use it yourself in the future. Who knows? I'm just like thinking out loud. So, asynchronous trade, poggers. We already know that it is a thing. So, yeah, sick, awesome. Same with PoE2.
upgrades.
You know, it's a great thing. It's a great thing that we finally have now. Now, Uber boss fights. I'm not an Uber boss fight player, fighter, whatever the hell. You know, I usually just don't care about them. My builds usually can't handle them. And it's for the crazy 1% of players that just spend an ungodly amount of time making a build just so gosh darn good.
Poisoned blade with an
Because I wouldn't want to fight Uber bosses and then die 5 times to then, you know, beat it. Like, no, an Uber boss should be, I don't know if it's actually how you can, I think Uber bosses still have 6 portals, right? In my opinion, Uber bosses shouldn't have 6 portals. I don't know if they have, but they shouldn't. It is an Uber version of a boss you already fought.
which focuses more
You know what I mean? Like,
on investing into one
you should have 1 portal. That's it. Get fricked, in my opinion. I don't know if it is that case. Like, I literally don't know.
with your chosen
Either way,
side, stealing power from your
great new 3 new uniques or, you know, Uber boss rewards. Pretty cool. I think that the poison one just sounded...
crushes your foes.
Yeah, the retaliation skills are a meme. I'm sorry, they really are. They are an absolute meme, at least to me.
Built into the
Who
hill.
knows?
These toxins
But
are put to
yeah,
good use,
the poison one,
causing every
pretty
spell you
sick. Love me permanent poison. All damage with triggered spells can poison.
enabling
So,
a truly crazy trigger-centric poison ruckus.
it's pretty sick.
Incarnation
Could
of
be
dread.
interesting. Who knows? Good.
Starting in 320,
Heist, kind of neat. I don't know if I'm actually gonna do that one.
will now open
I
all other blight chests.
Might think about Blight. Blight seems like a fun thing to do. The thing is, with Blight, I feel like I'm kind of also wasting my time compared to just running maps.
Show at a glance what kind of mission they are.
Like, loot-wise, it's kind of like
Down control and right-clicking on stack decks
not enough
will now
sometimes.
continuously open them to your
stack decks,
inventory.
sure, I might use them now instead of selling them.
If you still want to open them direct to the
Who knows? I feel like stack decks are gonna be worth so much because of this that it's also just worth selling them instead of opening just 1 billion of them to maybe get that Mage Blood card or whatever.
that remnants of
Who knows?
corruption have.
We'll see about that. Again, little addition with the Val Orb, pretty neat. Which also, by the way, might up the price of Val Orbs. Which you know, just keep picking them up because could be money, could be big money. But then also, of course, the level up all gems, pretty sick. Great, we have that now.
We're going to be talking
All right.
about new league supporter packs.
Yeah, I. That's kind of it. That was the entire content reveal. Pretty sick. Pretty sick indeed. That is an unfortunate
Exile, Keepers of the Flame.
pause. Yeah. I'm excited. You know, it's just more stuff. Just, again, great stuff with the Genesis tree. Love that a lot. The Bloodline classes could be interesting, right, when I know about... again, I'm not a build creator, so I'm probably going to look it up, or I'm not going to care about it for a long time, because, again, it's not like I needed a power in Path of Exile 1, right? We are showered in power, right? It is the pinnacle of a power fantasy in the game. It's definitely really difficult at first, right, if you're a brand new player, but it becomes so unbelievably easy to get power, and the power is so high up to a level, then you hit tier 17's maps and you get pushed down again. Either way, there's already so much power, so I might not care about them too much, but still, sick. The new support gems could be interesting. Again, I'm usually a meta cuck anyways, because 1, I don't have infinite time. 2nd, definitely not now, because of IRL reasons. 3, yeah, meta cucks. Hi, meta cuck here. Hi, fellow meta cuck here. How you doing? Meta builds. The reason why they are meta is because they are either incredibly cheap or easy to just get up to a certain level of power, which usually is kind of okay for most stuff, right? You can blast your tier 16 maps with this build, and it's really easy to get there. Boom, it's a meta build. Maybe, roughly, who knows? I mean, it's always like depends on what people actually want in the game, right? But yeah, it's usually the more power you get for less time invested. That's actually an interesting formula, maybe. Mathematicians out there in the audience. More power plus less time invested equals meta build. That's the thing. Or Wait, is it plus less time invested or plus hours invested below divided by, wait, I'm not a mathematician, but you know where I'm going with this. So yeah, obviously, if you need to spend 10 hours on a build and you get a power of 10,000, let me just throw numbers out there, right? So 10 hours to get 10,000 power. And now someone has to do 20 hours to get 5,000 powers. Obviously, it's gonna be worse. Not literally, of course. We all like different things, and that's the beauty of Path of Exile 1. But for the average player, yeah, it's gonna be worse probably. Again, for the average player. And that's not gonna be bad. It's just gonna be... there will always be a meta build. It depends on, of course, how big that power gap is, right? Because if the power level is at 100,000 and you get there in 30 hours, while someone has to play 90 hours to get there, that's bad. That's balance, right? That's literally just balance. So, yeah. With this, Keepers of the Flame, I'm most likely going to stream it next Friday when it releases. And then maybe on Sunday. Probably. This, I'm guessing. I'm literally throwing stuff at a dartboard right now. I'm genuinely not sure. So, busy time. I might actually have to do a Silksong stream. Anyways, I'm gonna just follow on Discord. You know, streams might be very random sometimes. Either way, with this, let's finish it off with the trailer once again. Cause sick music and all. And stay hydrated, by the way. One last time together. Let's go.
We, the Keepers of the Flame, serve the will of the Dreamer. His instructions whispered from beyond the wall of sleep. But now, the Hiveborn are here, on Rayclast, and they seek to poison our world.
God, is the music good.
We must close their breaches, destroy their hives, slay their breach lords. And by his gifts, the Dreamer provides. They brought this war to our world, but we shall end it, whatever it takes.
Pretty heavy soundtrack. Goodness gracious. One thing I just noticed is that she said Keepers of the Flame. So they want to keep it, not the Destroyer, not the Annihilator, not the
As you can see,
Extinguishers, which would be really dumb, by the way. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that that's their name. And they're Follow the Dreamer, which could be the highest being. Also, yes, it's very obvious that these are just the Beyond or demons that we got. So we went from... so they pretty much went from, okay, right, we got Beyond, and then we use Scourge to re-add them back, and now they reuse the same enemies in PoE2, but also now PoE1. It's gonna feel really strange right now, because they start to they really start to, like, fuse together these types of enemies. They really start to become, especially, hold up, especially the, isn't it literally called the Seraphim? Hold up. Not you. No, not you. Where's that one enemy?
They brought this war to our world, but we shall.
No, it's not you. Was it? No, wait. I'm really trying to find it. There was one shot that was so obviously... Where is it?
And by his gifts, the dreamer provides.
Again, the dreamer provides. So clearly,
They brought this war to our
it's an interesting
world,
thing.
we shall end it, whatever it takes.
I mean, is it more like a... I mean, I don't know the lore about Breach that well then, maybe. I mean, it sounded... To a degree, it kind of sounded like that the Breach Lords fight themselves, right? It's like 5 factions that kind of fight over power over each other, but also then against you, because either they can get power from you, which then they can use to then get more of their world, right? I think it's more of a... like, to kind of annihilate themselves, compared to the Scourge, which technically, I think, all work together. Like, it's kind of a hive mind, I think. That's what the Scourge is. So it's a different thing, I think.
Seek to
Where was it again?
world.
I'm trying to find that one shot.
Close their breaches.
Oh, yeah, this one. Yeah, this one is definitely a Scourge mob, 100%. Especially this one. That's just a Pale Seraphim reskinned. I'm not blind, am I? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. I mean, it looks freaking sick, all the enemies. I love them. I mean, I wouldn't want to, like, you know, have a date with them. But, you know, it's pretty sick. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just reuse the Scourge mobs. I also feel like it is... I mean, at the end of the day, it could be similar to... Well, they are amalgamations of stuff in a weird mutated way to reach power this high. Which could be a way of explaining, well, if you wish for power in this world, you become an abomination like this, right? I mean, we even saw it in Malachi already, right, in Act 4. Like, he's clearly not human anymore. And even other enemies, like, that just become complete, like, weird creatures, grow extra limbs, their legs change, you know, really fricked up stuff. So maybe that's kind of like the explanation why enemies start becoming... Like, most of them start looking like this. I mean, not most of them, but it's like... I don't know. Now we have Scourge and this in the same game. Potentially next to each other. Worst case, on top of each other. Like, think about it. You have Scourge, or beyond, demons that spawn right next to those enemies. They're gonna look really similar. I'm gonna be honest. I think they're gonna look really similar. But they are also, like, more of a pink flesh, and I think Scourge mobs have a little bit more of that, I think, reddish kind of thing. I mean, it's still different colors, but it's like, there's quite the overlap now. Still, I just wanted to mention this, because this was one of the first things I saw. Like, when I saw this I was like thinking, okay, so this is the Pale Seraphim? What's going on right now? So, it's gonna be interesting. Or maybe they have a 2.0, a sequel to Beyond prepared, which could literally reintroduce Scourge. That would be a semi-easy way of reintroducing Scourge. But who knows? The game is becoming pretty large over the past years, right? Path of Exile 1. And they have clearly tapered off a little bit, as in a good way, right? It's like, all right, let's pull bad content out, let's add new stuff, or rework it in a way. So, for example, Prophecy's gone, right? Which is now not really back in Path of Exile 2. But goddamn, when I saw Navali, I'm like, oh my god, yes. I'm so happy. I don't know, in a weird way, because I actually never liked Prophecy, and I was like, let's go, nuke it. So yeah, there's that. Metamorph also got absolutely nuked, which is fine. So, but now if they add sequels to past leagues, it will just ramp it up again. But I think it ramps it up in a good way. Instead of having now, 10 league mechanics, and then they add an 11th one, it's still the same 10 league mechanics, but one of them now it has way more depth, like way more, or like a decent few steps more in terms of depth than before. So this might be a good way of adding content to something that exists without making it way more complicated, right? Instead of like starting Path of Exile 1 and you find a billion different things, it's still a billion, but now it has more depth. Who knows? That could be a good way of potentially balancing it out long term. But we'll find out. Good. With this, play for free, boys, on October 31st, which is going to be in a literal week, because today's already Friday. So, yeah, 12 p.m. PDT, which is, I think, I truly don't know. Well, 12 p.m. is, I think it's probably going to start at like 10 p.m. again. So it's probably going to be, well, actually, I can just look at the website, Lamau. Please tell me they linked it. Thank God. It's literally 23 hours and 5 minutes. Okay, so it would have started 54 minutes ago. Okay, so it starts 9 p.m. my time. So I'm definitely going to stream that, which is good, because I can probably stream for about a few hours until maybe midnight, maybe a little bit after that. And the day after that, I'm going to an anime convention in Vienna. Most likely, I will definitely want to go, but also probably with friends. So, or one friend and those friends. So, pretty sick. I'm just gonna briefly scroll through this. Got it, Keepers of the Flame, Keepers of the Flame, the Genesis tree, a handy upgrade. I get it. Foulborn Fortune. True, I completely forgot that these are craftable things. I mean, it's going to be insane. So it's gonna be quite. I think I'm underestimating how good this thing could probably be. And we have Foulborn Fortunes, Destroy the Hives, new skill and support gems, the entire website lags, Lamau. 10 Bloodline Ascendancy classes, okay, yeah. Uber Incarnations, then of course Asynchronous Trade. The quality of life features are gonna feel pretty darn good. Just being able to just, boom, refund all the points is gonna be, yes. It's weird how it took so gosh darn long. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, they were just really... Yeah, Jonathan, I think, never wanted this flip-flopping around between, oh, you can choose this, and boom, now you can choose that, and now you can choose this, and now you can choose that. I think he really doesn't like that personally, so maybe that's why just it never really happened. Which is fine. I also am actually a believer of, even if you give me a build and I play that build for like 50 hours and then I swap to a different thing with the same character and I can just like refund it all and then restart, it doesn't feel right. It really, like, psychologically, it does not feel right. I need to start at the Twilight fucking Strand and work my way up to it again. To me personally, I have to. Like, there is no way. Or maybe I'm fine with it, I'm okay, but I know I will not play that character for another 50 hours. I will not. I know that. Like, psychologically, just something doesn't work, at least to me. But I think for most people, they're just like, no, bro, can I just refund it all without having to click every button once? And maybe that's just all they want, right? They still want to play the same build, but they don't want to press now 100 single icons, like click, 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 click. You can just refund it all, and now they have to press the buttons anyways again. You know, just who knows? Maybe it's all that. But you know, less clicking, always a good thing in my opinion. Less clicking, less, you know, less wrist pain. Probably a good thing. Indeed. Well, not probably. It is a good thing. So wait, what does she say again? What is the quote? They come from another world, a barren world, and they crave our living land and sky, our unbroken sun. They cannot be allowed to gain a foothold here. Okay, the Breach Lords are advancing further into the outer world, establishing their ominous construct across Rayclast. To stop their conquest, Aelith founded the Order of the Keepers of the Flame, harnessed the power of the flame from Aelith, and destroyed the Breach infestations once and for all. Spoiler, it's not going to be once and for all. But interesting, she founded the Order of the Keepers of the Flame. Yeah, I have many questions about her. She's the first of the Keepers because she founded it, but didn't we just hear that it's like a thing since a very long time? So weird. It's gonna be quite interesting. All right, that was the stream. Pretty short, actually, just an hour and a little bit. So there's that. But you know, I'm not gonna go over the Q&A right now. I am a little bit tired. You know, I've been out and about since lunch pretty much. So I want to say 12 hours, but it's not 12 hours. It's about 10 hours. Something along those lines. Yeah, a little bit less than 10 hours, but intense 10 hours. So 9 hours. Anyhow, very cool. Very excited to play that next Friday live on stream. And it's going to be a good time. Listen. What? Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. That's weird. I am excited. Goodness gracious. All right. One last time. Stay hydrated, gamers. Throughout the week. Throughout the weekend.